Okay, welcome back to another episode of Secure Governance. I'm your host, Antonio Sturgis, and we are starting our 2026 Security Plus training. Those of you who joined me on our GRC training, we're picking that back up with our risk register training that'll be out probably next week. But we're going to be starting our Security Plus training version 701. This is going to go probably from December into February, March, however long it takes us. We'll be doing lessons every couple days. So again, this is the introduction module, exam readiness foundation. Welcome to the Security Plus 701 version journey. This course will break down the cybersecurity concepts into simple, friendly lessons, talk through like ABCs. So um, I'm also going to be coming out with a guideline that gives you the roadmap uh, to GRC mastery. And one of those components is the Security Plus that everybody looks for. So let's start. Welcome to your Security Plus journey. In this training, we're getting ready for the CompTIA Security Plus exam version 701. Think of this exam like a big driving test, but instead of driving a car, you're driving computers and networks safely. You're not expected to be a genius or a hacker. You're just learning how to protect information so bad people cannot break in, steal it, or break things. This introduction module will help you understand what the exam looks like, learn how the questions are written, learn a simple way to study so you don't feel lost, see the tools we'll use in this course. By the end of this module, you'll feel like, okay, I see the road, I know where we're going. And remember, the number one priority of all cybersecurity jobs, number one priority, number one is to protect data at all cost. All types of data, but protect data. Number two, make sure the organization is compliant so they're not fined. And number three, make sure your provider or whoever you work for is not sued in civil court. Those are the three, realistically. Okay, so what is CompTIA Security Plus? CompTIA Security Plus is a beginner-friendly cybersecurity certification. That means it's proof you can show to your employers that says, I know the basics of keeping computers and information safe. It's always about data protection. Now, everyone will tell you to get your Security Plus, but I'm going to tell you to get your Security Plus plus the Google Cybersecurity course. Why? When you do take the exam, you're going to see it's a lot of multiple choice. A lot of multiple choice, if this, if that, best option. But at the end, it doesn't give you the practical experience that you need on your resume. The Google Cybersecurity course actually gives you practice exams. It gives you one-on-one personal experience. It gives you resume building experience that you can put on your resume. The only thing you can do with this is, hey, yeah, I have the Security Plus certification. Helpful, but we'll get into that later. So basically, you know the basics of keeping computers and information safe. Like I said, the number one priority of any cybersecurity job is to protect data. So it'll help you spot danger. You'll learn how to identify security threats before they cause harm. You'll protect systems. You'll learn the tools and the techniques to defend networks and data. And number three, responding to incidents. You learn what to do when something goes wrong. So spot danger, protect systems, respond to incidents. Many jobs use Security Plus as a starting point. Help desk, junior security analyst, junior SOC analyst, entry level GRC roles, and more. So this exam is likely your first key that opens the door to many security jobs. And I'm going to tell you straight up, AI. AI is going to take away a lot of cybersecurity jobs. So what's going to happen is you're going to have to be able to know different aspects of cybersecurity. You don't have to master it, but you have to know about it. Basically, it's coming down to an engineer, someone who's managing systems. No more applying because AI can do that, but managing systems. Most importantly, being able to take complicated terms and to communicate to lay people, to explain, an educator, really, in my opinion. That's the future. Okay, so the code SO1 is simply a version number of the Security Plus exam. We were just on 6, now we're at 7. CompTIA updates their exams every few years to keep up with the new technology and threats. You can think of it like a new edition of a school textbook. The older edition, like I said, we were on 601. Now we're on 701. Older edition, older exams. New edition 701, which is the version we're studying for now. When you see 701, your brain should say, "This is the current Security Plus exam I am preparing for." Now, what is a certification exam? Again, a certification exam is like a big final test that doesn't belong to a single school. It's run by a company, CompTIA, that many educators trust. It's like a driver's license. If you want to drive a car, you need a driver's license. So you're going to study the topics, learn what CompTIA says is important for security professionals. You'll take the test and you'll get certified. You'll receive a digital certificate and badge to showcase your skills. Employers see that badge and think this person understands the basic of security. I can trust them more with my systems. So this whole course is focused on one thing, helping you understand the material deeply enough that passing the exam becomes the natural result. Now, I'm going to explain in another course where I have friends that do not have the Security Plus. They have the Google Cybersecurity Certificate. They chose one or the other. Now, if you want to work in government, you got to have Security Plus. But I have friends that have the Google Cybersecurity Certificate because in a Google Cybersecurity Certificate, you have practical exams and labs. You learn everything from language to blue team, red team, GRC, etc., everything. And you have practical exams that you can put on your resume. Security Plus is more of a multiple choice, if this, if that, etc. So I recommend that you take both of them, but we'll get into that later on. Okay, so how the Security Plus exam is structured. Let's look at the tests. Feels like when you sit down. There's 90 questions, sometimes a little less. You'll have 90 minutes to answer all the questions, and you need a score of 750. You need at least a 750 out of 900 points to pass. Scoring range goes from 100 to 900 points. So imagine a big test with 100 questions and about an hour and a half to finish. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to be good enough to reach that 750 mark. Okay? What type of questions will you see? The exam doesn't have a simple pick A, B, C, or D questions. There are a few types you must be ready for. Okay. First, you're going to see multiple choice questions. You pick the best answer from a list of options. These are straightforward quiz style questions testing your knowledge. If you've taken the SATs or the LSATs or the GREs, there you go. Number 2 are going to be scenario based questions. A short story is given, and you decide what to do. These test your ability to apply knowledge to real world situations. And then number 3, performance-based questions. You may drag and drop, click, or match items in a mini lab-like screen. These are interactive simulations testing hands-on skills. You can think of it like some questions are simple quizzes, some are short stories with a question at the end, and some are tiny puzzles where you click and drag pieces into place. We'll train you on all of these step by step. Okay, now understanding the 5 exam domains. Okay, the exam is split into 5 big buckets of topics called domains. Each domain is like a chapter of things you must learn. The first, general security concepts, which will be the next class. Foundation principles and security fundamentals. Number 2, threats, vulnerabilities, and mitigations. Understanding attacks and how to prevent them. 3, security architecture, designing and implementing secure systems. Number 4, security operations, day-to-day security monitoring and response. And lastly, the 5th domain, security program management and governance, policies, compliance, and risk management, which is my specialty, GRC. You don't need to memorize everything right now. Just remember the exam is not random. It's organized into these big 5 areas. Okay. Domain weights. What matters most? Everything matters. Each domain has a percentage. Each domain has a percentage of the exam. Think of the exam as a pizza, and each domain gets a slice. Some slices are bigger, more questions. Some slices are smaller, fewer questions. This means if a domain has a higher percentage, you'll see more questions about it. We'll spend more time on the big slices and enough time on the smaller ones so you're balanced. The key idea, we're not guessing. We're aligning our study time with what CompTIA says is important. Remember that. Okay, how Security Plus thinks. Very important for passing. The Security Plus exam often asks, what is the best next step? Or what is the most secure option? Multiple right answers. Sometimes more than one answer looks kind of right. You have to choose the best. Your job is to pick the answer that is the most correct for that situation. You're not just memorizing facts, you're learning to think like a security person. What protects the business best? What keeps users safe? What stays within the rules and laws? We'll practice this way of thinking again and again throughout the course. Example, best next step question. Okay? You work at a company. An employee says they got a weird email asking them to log in and change their password. The email looks suspicious. What is the best next step? A. Tell them to ignore it next time. B. Report the email to the security team and phishing mailbox. C. Delete the email and move on. D. Change their password using the link in the email. Okay. What's the best next step? Several answers might seem okay at first, but the best answer is usually report the email to the security team so they can protect others and learn from it and not click the link. So you'll get these type of questions. The exam wants you to think because believe it or not, some people might say, hey, I'm going to delete the email and move on. Some people may tell them, hey, ignore it. But the best possible answer, obviously, is to report the email to the security team and the phishing mailbox. Okay? So you're going to have a lot of those type of scenarios going on. So, moving on, how to spot wrong answers, understanding distractors. On the exam, some answers are trick answers called distractors. They look tempting, but they're not the best choice. Individual solutions, answers that fix the problem only for one person, not the whole company. Extreme responses, answers that are too extreme, like shutting down everything when it isn't needed or policy violations, answers that ignore established procedures and policies. Example, if one answer follows company policy and another is random but sounds heroic, the policy-based answer is usually correct. And again, we'll practice this and other when we start to get into multiple choice questions. How to read scenario questions slowly. Scenario questions give you a short story. To handle them well, follow this systematic approach. First, read the question. Look at the question at the bottom before reading the story. Ask yourself, what are they really asking? So look at the questions at the bottom before reading the story. Therefore, as you read, you'll get a better understanding. Analyze the story. Then read the scenario carefully. Look for clues, type of system, who is it affected, what the problem is, identify the goal, determine what you're trying to achieve, and are we trying to protect confidentiality, integrity, and availability. This is CIA. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. This is what we call CIA. We'll get into that in the trainings. And then you can eliminate the wrong answers. Remove any answers that clearly don't support the goal or make logical sense. When you do this, the question stops feeling scary. It becomes a small puzzle with clues that guide you to the right answer. Our study framework, 3 layers. To make this exam simple, we'll use a 3-layer learning method. 1, concepts. Learn the word and what it means in plain language. Number 2, scenarios. See the concept in real life situations or a story. And then 3, the controls. Learn what we actually do about it, the tool, the setting, or the policy. Think of it like cooking. First, you learn the name of the dish. Then you watch someone cook it. Then you learn the recipe and do it yourself. We'll do this for every important topic throughout this course. I like to teach things in ABCD kindergarten format, yes, because I want people to understand. When I started with this, I didn't have anybody to go to. I had to learn on my own. And so I want to make it easy and accessible for everyone. So let's talk about layer 1, concepts. In layer 1, we answer, what does this word mean in plain English? For example, firewall. Plain meaning, a firewall is like a security gate that decides which network traffic can come in or go out. It looks at data trying to pass and it says yes or no based on the rules. We'll avoid using big words without explaining them. Every time we meet a new term, we will say it, break it down, and use a simple example. Again, when I was learning this, I didn't have all the resources that were available now. I didn't have all the allies and the resources for help. So it was difficult struggle. However, now that I am teaching this, I want to be able to break this down into terms. It is what it is. Kindergarten ABC hold my hand terms so you understand thoroughly. Scenarios, stories from real life. And layer 2, we answer, what does this look like in real life? Using our firewall example. Okay, scenario. A company has a web server that people on the internet need to reach. They want people to reach the website, but they don't want people to directly access their internal base. So they use the firewall to allow web traffic to the web server, blocking traffic going straight to the database. This story helps your brain see when and why a firewall is used, not just what it is. Okay? Again, explaining things in ABCD kindergarten format. And this is what the course is. So if you want high technical terms and you want high technical language, this course is not going to be for you. We're going to explain this in terms that you can understand so that you're successful. Layer 3, controls. What we actually do in layer 3, we answer what specific action or tool do we use to fix or prevent the problem? For example, allow rule. Creating a rule that says allow HTTP and HTTPS to the web server. Deny rule. Creating another rule that says deny direct database access from the internet. In the exam, many questions are really asking which control is best here, which settings should you use, which policy should you apply. By linking concepts, scenarios, controls, the answer will feel more obvious and natural. Okay? Daily routine, short and consistent wins. You don't need to study for 8 hours every day. Instead, think short and steady. A simple daily routine could be 20 to 40 minutes learning new concepts and terminology, 10 to 20 minutes practice questions and scenario review, and 5 to 10 minutes reviewing notes or flashcards. You're not going to sit here and ram. These guys that come on YouTube and say, "Yeah, I got my Security Plus in a month." Okay, they may have gotten it, but when they get on the interview, they're going to fail. And that's why I always recommend everyone that you do the Google Cybersecurity in addition to the Security Plus. Because one of the things that the Security Plus does not do, it does not give you hands-on practicum exams or labs. So when you walk into the interview, yeah, you can recite definitions, blah, blah, blah. But when they ask you how to do something and apply it towards that business, that's where people fail. So we're not rushing this. We want to understand what we're doing, and I'm probably going to throw some labs in there here and there also. Okay? So no, you don't need to stop your life for 8 hours. No, continue to work, continue to pay your bills. Okay, spaced repetition. Why we review old stuff. Your brain forgets things on purpose to save space. We fight this by reviewing topics again and again, but in short bursts. This is called spaced repetition. Day 1, learn a topic. Day 2 and 3, review it once. 1 week later, review quickly again. And 4 later, use practice questions to bring it back. You don't have to remember everything the first time. This course will keep bringing ideas back until they stick into your long-term memory. The number one reason why people are applying for cybersecurity jobs right now, and they say, "Oh, there's no jobs, there's no jobs, there's no jobs." A lot of people that have cybersecurity jobs don't know what they're doing. Remember, if you get hired on as an entry level guy, okay, you're going to have a team and there's senior members. So they're going to give you grunt work, something easy, maybe checking logs or monitoring stuff or, something simple, you know, but it's the real senior guys that know how to do things. So the game has changed in cybersecurity. When you walk into an interview for Joe Blow business, you have to know how to apply cybersecurity to Joe Blow's business. So you need to learn everything about that business. Everything. If it's a hospital, for example, you need to know everything about that hospital. When it was founded, who the key players are, who they service. You need to know the economics, and you need to know how you can apply cybersecurity to that business. Okay? And if you don't know how to do that, you're not going to get the job. Excuse me. Mistakes are part of learning. You will get questions wrong while you study. This is normal and healthy. When you miss a question, obviously don't say I'm stupid. Say, great, I just discovered a weak spot I can fix. Each wrong answer is like a flashlight. shining on something you didn't fully understand. That's how you grow stronger. And this course, mistakes are information, not failure. Okay, so tools you will use. Terminology sheets. One tool we'll use is terminology sheets, glossaries. These are simple lists of security words and acronyms, their meanings in plain language, short examples for context, what you can do, print them for easy reference, highlight key terms, add your own notes and examples, review them regularly. Every time you see a weird word on the exam, your brain will say, oh, yes, I saw that on the terminology sheet. Okay? Tools, diagrams, and pictures, visual learning made simple. Some topics are much easier to understand with pictures. We'll use diagrams to show how networks are laid out, where firewalls, routers, and servers sit, how data flows from one place to another, security architecture, and defense layers. Think of diagrams like maps. If I only say go north, then left, then you get confused. But if I show you a map, you see it right away. Okay, so we'll have that also. Control mapping templates. A control mapping template is a simple table where we connect the problem, the risk, and the solution. For example, problem, people clicking phishing emails. Now, if you don't know what a phishing email is, it's basically an email that's sent to you maybe from your bank. It looks like it's from your bank. So you click on it, but once you click on it and open the attachment, surprise, it's not your bank, it's a hacker. So the problem is people clicking phishing emails, the risk, stolen passwords and credentials, the controls, employee training, email filters to filter out the spam, and multi-factor authentication. Right now, if you're not using multi-factor authentication, okay, you need to. I'll give you an example. I signed up for some service I don't know. They were hacked. And every couple days, I get notices from Google that someone is trying to change my password. Now, if I didn't have multi-factor authentication, okay, so whereas you have to verify email, you have to verify phone number, you have to verify by text, you have to verify by the Google Authenticator app, excuse me. If I didn't have all these safeguards in, I'd be screwed. They hack into the email, they change the password, and once they do that, I'm done. So these are the controls. People are sending phishing emails. If you click on it, the risk, stolen password and credentials. What are the controls? How do we stop that? With employee training, hey, be careful these emails. Verify before you open if it doesn't look familiar. Email filters to filter out spam in these emails and multi-factor authentication. Unpatched software. What's the risk? System vulnerabilities exploited. Controls, we have patch management and vulnerability scanning. We run scans through our system to see if we have anything that's vulnerable or exposed. Problem, weak password. With a weak password like password123, what's the risk? Unauthorized account access. Once they get in, you're done. What are the controls? We have password policies where we don't use, hey, you can't use password123. You can't use your name. You can't repeat the password. Um, we have multi-factor authentication, and we have account lockout if someone tries to enter so many times. So these are controls to prevent the risk from happening. By writing these out, you'll learn how to think like a security professional. Here's the danger. What are my options to protect against it? Remember, there are three major goals in cybersecurity when you work for a company. Number one, protect data. Number two, make sure the company that you work for is compliant so you don't get fined. And number three, make sure you don't get breached so you're not sued. Okay? On the exam, this helps you quickly pick the most appropriate control for the situation described. So again, problem, risk, control. Okay. Um, Performance-based question training. Remember the performance-based questions. We'll build a performance-based question practice map, which is a list of tiny tasks we expect you might see. For example, firewall rules, sorting firewall rules into the right order and priority. Okay? Attack matching, matching attacks to their description and characteristics. For example, what is phishing? What is vishing? Log analysis, reading a log and spotting suspicious activity. For example, someone logging into an account multiple times, or requesting to change password multiple times. Each practice performance-based question is like a small game. Drag and drop, match pairs, or put things in the right order. By the time you see real performance-based questions, they'll feel familiar, not scary. All right. How to use this course for maximum results. Okay, here's how to get the most out of the training. Watch or read each module carefully. Don't rush through the content. Take time to absorb each concept. Number 2, pause and think. Ask yourself after each example, can I explain this to a friend? Could you explain this in a job interview? Use the tools, terminology sheets, diagrams, templates, and for performance-based questions, maps are there to help you. Do practice questions regularly. Practice each topic, not just at the end of the course. Slow down when it's hard. When something feels difficult, slow down, don't speed up. You're not trying to beat a test. You're building real understanding that can get you a job and help you protect real systems. Okay? All right? So this is not a contest. You take your time. All right. So finally, remember this. Cybersecurity can sound scary and complicated. It's really not. But every big concept can be broken down into simple pieces. You do not need to know everything on day one. Think of yourself as a beginner security hero in training. Every module, every slide, every practice question is one more step towards passing the Security Plus and opening new doors in your career. Remember, you can do this. Our training will hold your hand step by step like ABCs. And welcome to your cybersecurity journey. Remember, my format, okay, is going to teach you like a kindergartner. I kid you not. When I was learning, again, I didn't have all these resources, chat GPT and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't here. So again, I had to struggle, and struggle. And I said, if I ever taught this, I'm going to teach this in a kindergarten ABC format so you can understand. So if that format is not for you, then there are other ways that you can learn. Okay? So leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. And we're going to be moving on to the first domain, and that's security fundamentals. We'll have quizzes and vocabulary, etc., that you can attach to, and there'll be lessons every 3 days. We know you take your time, and again, leave a comment, and I hope to see you on the next training number 2. God bless.